going on, everybody? Welcome to, I almost said Retro Wednesday. Welcome to the Almost Awesome Show, episode 9. I don't really fucking know what episode it is, but welcome either way. Happy to have you guys here. We, as in we, I mean myself and Nick, that way.
Hi, everybody.
From Movie Emporium.
Woo, touchdown.
We are here to talk about this week's, or this half of the week's, movie news, which there's not, I mean, I guess there's a lot. There's nothing big, nothing huge. There's a few things, but whatever. It seems to be a trend here lately. I feel like we're going to get a big wave of shit to happen soon. But anyway, what is today? Is it Wednesday? Man, my week is all fucked up. Yeah, it's Wednesday. Oops. I always do that. Hang on. There we go. Yeah, professional production here. But yeah, we are here to talk to you guys about movie news of whatever this day is, the 10th of August and stuff. And yeah, and got some hopefully interesting stories for you guys. But hope you're all having a good week thus far. I'm sure that some really juicy, great stuff will break like today after I shoot this, because that's just how it goes. That's kind of what happened on Saturday. But I'm doing well. I'm having a pretty good week. How about yourself, Nick? How are you doing, sir?
I'm wonderful. I'm great. I am definitely not editing a video about a certain Templeton. Yeah, it's wonderful, people.
Yeah, I know what he's talking about. No, that's not. But anyway, don't want to give that away. So yeah, turn that down. Sorry. Got lots of things going on. Here we go. Anyway, yeah, that's what's going on. Looks like we got Antonio and Fright Films in the chat. How you guys doing? Thanks for showing up. Yes, I acknowledged the chat on the stream for once. Hopefully I'll be doing that more frequently moving forward. No trailers or reviews or anything today. We will have a review coming, a big review coming on Saturday, though, with another guest. And we'll talk more about that at the end of the show. Looking forward to that. But this will probably, I said this last week, this will probably be a shorter show. Yeah, I said that last week, or I said that Saturday, and it actually ended up being a longer show than usual. And we had less to talk about. I don't know how the fuck that happens, but I don't think that's going to be the case today. We are going a little bit early today, so thanks for showing up if you're here. Reason being is I have actually somewhere I have to be in the middle of the time that I would usually be shooting this show, so that couldn't do that. So I had to do it a little bit earlier today. Hope you guys are okay with that. Some of you guys are probably like, yes, I like earlier. Some of you are like, fuck off. But either way, we're here. You can watch it later if you need. But Nick, how about what's going on with you this week so far? Anything interesting?
Just usual reviews. Like I said, I'm in the middle of editing our next episode of our podcast. I fit to mention. I did a review for that new movie Fall, which I posted this morning. And I have a review.
We're going to talk about that a little bit today.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll give you my thoughts when we talk about it. But I also reviewed I Love My Dad, which is an interesting film. Yeah. So yeah, usual.
Yeah, you told me you were watching that. Did it get any? I'm not gonna say better, but in the thing you were telling me about, did that change or did it remain?
No, it remained
weird. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah. I don't know if that's cool or not, but well, yeah. Check those out, guys, on Nick's channel, Movie Emporium, when you get a chance. I know I saw you had. Was it The Fall? Is that what you put out this morning? I saw you had a review, but I didn't
yeah. Fall was this morning, and then I Love My Dad's next tomorrow, and then I have something on Friday, which I can't remember what it is.
Cool. Yeah, nothing's coming out this week. I think maybe that new Netflix movie that I was supposed to see early that I didn't. Son of a bitch.
Oh yeah, they never sent a code for that. I was surprised.
No, I was too. I was really looking forward to seeing that, but I think that comes out. I'll probably watch that this weekend. But beyond that, I got a few little small things. We're gonna try a new thing here. Nothing really big and new. We're gonna have a little segment here in the beginning where we just talk about some random shit that's happened over the past week in the world that doesn't necessarily warrant a whole entire segment of the show on its own, but perhaps all together. Just some little blurbs, news blurbs, I guess. I guess we can go ahead and jump right into that. And the first thing. Oh, and before I get there, I guess let you guys know this week on the show We're going to be talking about Rings of Power. We're going to be talking about Kevin Smith and some of the things he said. Lionsgate is doing an odd thing. The Strangers movies, movies, I guess, already. Got something in my mouth. If you are into those, then I might have good news for you. And a couple other things. Sonic 3 is happening, but, it's probably not making the best choice. Mike Tyson's got some words. New Mortal Kombat movie, but it's not Mortal Kombat 2. Anywho, let's move on to this first quick segment about what's going on this week in the world of entertainment. Apparently, Tom Cruise might be making a musical. Have you heard of this?
The only thing I know he did was the Rock of Ages, but I've heard a little bit, but not much, I guess you could say.
Well, it's him and the director of Mission Impossible, I think Fallout, and whatever Mission Impossibles they're working on now. They're making a musical. He wants to do something a bit more lighthearted, and good on him. I know he made that Rock of Ages movie, and I never finished that, but from what I remember about it, I didn't love it.
No, it was terrible.
Yeah, it didn't do it for me. So, if you're into Tom Cruise and him and this director, well, I can't speak to the two movies they're working on now, and they also made Valkyrie, which I liked Valkyrie. Mm-hmm. So, they're a good combination. Maybe they'll make a good musical. Now, there was talk, to expand on this just a bit, that it was going to be what was his character's name in Tropic Thunder? Les Grossman, something like that?
Les Grossman, Les Grossman.
Yeah, there is talks that it's supposed to be a musical centered around that character.
Oh man, if that's true, sign me the fuck. That's number one of my most anticipated.
Well, he did say awesome. It's been like a decade back, but he said that he wanted to make a spinoff movie around that character. So it could be. This could be a bigger story than it seems at first glance. I would be totally down for that because I love that cameo, and I can admit the first time I saw that movie, and I guess I just hadn't read anything about it, I did not even know that was Tom Cruise. It wasn't even until after I saw the movie that I realized, somebody told me that's Tom Cruise. I was like, holy shit. Once you see it, you see it. But I didn't even realize it.
No, that's the funny part about that segment is I actually knew it was Tom Cruise because you could tell like in his eyes and stuff like that who was like an actor of who they are. And I kept hearing like nobody knew it was Tom Cruise. I'm like, really? That's funny.
Well, did somebody tell you before or did you recognize him?
No, I knew because I knew it. I had heard rumors that he was going to be in it as like a cameo, and I just knew. Excuse me. I just knew it was awesome, and I was so surprised that a lot of people didn't know it.
Well, yeah. Well, see, I know that it came out that he was going to be in it, and they were trying to keep it a secret, but like it did come out that he was going to be in it. But I didn't know that. I wasn't keeping my ear to the ground on that one at the time, and I just I guess I wasn't looking for it because it does not seem like a Tom Cruise role, so I wasn't looking for it. And hey, what do you know? Somebody pointed it out. Since then, I see it I see him. I'm like, oh yeah, that's definitely Tom Cruise. But I don't know. That was great. Yeah, but I'd be totally down for a musical of Les Grossman or whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Also going on in the world, Idris Elba, who, if you didn't know, played Bloodshot, I think it's Bloodshot in the Suicide Squad movie. He, the one with James Gunn. I think he took over. Was he the same character that Will Smith was, or did he?
No,
he's a different.
No. It was in essence like the same type of character, but it wasn't the same character.
Yeah, because Will Smith was Deadshot, or
sure.
He shot things too.
Yeah, they both shot things with like insane guns, and they're sexy black men. I don't know. It's
yeah. There you go.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Kind of the same thing. But he has made comments saying that he wants to fight Superman within that universe. And that's about all there is to it. But me, myself, I look at it and I'm like, I'd be down for that. What Superman? Who knows? And also, who the fuck knows with whatever the fuck is going on over there at Warner Brothers, if we'll ever see any more of this Suicide Squad team that we have now, or if this will I don't know. I'd be down for it. I liked the Suicide Squad, but who the fuck knows? That's just his comments. Another interesting thing this week, I don't have the picture. There's not really much to it, but Jim Henson's Creature Shop is apparently working on a Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Now, this is the Five Nights at Freddy's movie was announced through Blumhouse a while back, and they keep on bringing it up every now and then, saying, "Hey, yeah, it's still happening." Jason Blum does, but Jason Blum shared a Twitter picture of some of the people, some of the techs over there at Jim Henson's Creature Shop working on some stuff, some puppets and stuff like that. And he said, just, thrilled to work with Jim Henson's Creature Shop. He didn't say it was for Five Nights at Freddy's, but he was just saying, hey, I'm thrilled to be working with them. But it's clear, I mean, you look at it and you're like, it's right there. That's a Five Nights at Freddy's, like, half-assembled creature that they're working on there. It's only like that big, but that's clearly what the fuck it is. They're working on an animatronic. I mean, there's nothing else. I mean, I'm not going to say there's nothing else, but it's pretty damn clear. So, I mean, that's kind of confirmation that they're working on it, which I think is cool because Jim Henson's Creature Shop does some really cool stuff. And if they make this movie, I mean, it could go either way. If they make it with like practical animatronics or practical effects, I think that could be pretty cool. I mean, that's a good start. I'll say that. It's a good start.
We need Nicolas Cage in it though.
Like crossover from that and what was it, Willy's Wonderland? Yeah. Which everybody said was kind of a spiritual successor to that anyway, kind of. Which it kind of was. But yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's fans, you got a little bit teensy weensy bit of news of the movie, and I guess all that stuff Jason Blum saying that yes, we're still working on it they really are still working on it. And the last little tidbit. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped one. I skipped two. Jamie Foxx, for those of you that didn't know, was cast, I guess, officially as Spawn in Todd McFarlane's new Spawn movie. Now, this movie was announced, like not 10 years ago, but it was like 6 years ago. It was like 2015, 2016. Yeah. And every year, he just starts talking about, not Jamie Foxx, but Todd McFarlane starts talking about it. Yeah, we're working on it. We're still working on it. And everybody's kind of just like, okay, sure. It's gone through all kinds of changes and everything. And there was apparently a script leaked at one point in time. All I know about this script is there's a part where it's really out there, and there's a part where Spawn turns into a bed. Yep. I don't know.
Is this a Roger Corman movie?
It's all Todd McFarlane. So, I mean, he's the creator of Spawn, so we can't say it was being butchered by something like outside influence. But he turns into a bed at some point. I know that. I mean, according to people that have read the script that leaked. I don't know if that's the script they're still working on, but he did announce like a couple of years ago that Jamie Foxx was going to be Spawn, which, I mean, I think that could work. And also Jeremy Renner was going to be in it as well. Didn't say who he was going to be, but now Jamie Foxx is in on it, and he's come out saying, "Hey, I'm still Spawn. I'm still really looking forward to this." But now he's making some bold claims, saying that they're really hype on doing this thing, and apparently he's comparing it to the Joker, saying this is Joker, like the film Todd Phillips Joker level film that's going to be here. I mean, I don't.
Can they just make an action film without having to be some other action like property? Like I hate that shit.
What they need to do is use the HBO show from back in the day as a template. That's what the fuck they need to do. Not the movie.
They
not
just
even
need
the
to
comics.
make a Spawn movie. Like, don't have the guy who was one of the maquette creators from Star Wars do a Spawn movie. Do a Spawn movie. Don't do, we want to be like dark and gritty like Joker. No, Spawn is a fucking demon knight from hell who escaped hell to become an anti-hero. And here we are we want to be like Joker. I don't want you to be like Joker. I want you to be Spawn. I want you to be like the action figures I saw in the comics I read and the cartoon we watched. And don't be fucking anything else but that. Be a good story. Don't put John Leguizamo as the clown in the fucking movie. It's just
hey, he was the best part of that movie.
I know.
Which
I'm
is
sorry.
Not saying much.
John
I didn't say he was
Leguizamo,
good.
I'm sorry.
I was just saying he was the most entertaining part of that movie.
Yeah, no.
I am
it's so annoying when they.
Well, I'm a big Spawn fan, or I was. I used to collect the comic books. I've got like Spawn number 1 through 9, I think, or something like that. I don't think they're worth shit, but I've got them, and I was always so disappointed with everything Spawn related besides the comic books that came out. That's back when I used to read comic books, and except for the HBO series. That series was badass. And that's if they want to. I mean, I'm with you. Just make a fucking Spawn movie. Don't try and be something else. But if you're gonna replicate something, replicate that show, because that show was awesome. But he's made some bold claims about that and that they're still working on it. I mean, there's not. I'm sorry.
No, isn't it a Blumhouse picture too? Like Blumhouse is producing Spawn or some shit. I heard.
I'm not really sure. I'm not sure. I wouldn't be surprised if Todd McFarlane, because he's got a production company. They don't do shit.
Yeah.
But it may be tied up with Blumhouse. Blumhouse. I don't know. But yeah, it's apparently still coming. I do think that we'll eventually see a Spawn movie, whether it's this Spawn movie, whether Jamie Foxx will be in it. I don't know, but I think that we will see one at some point in time. The character is relevant enough, and there is enough interest in it to get something. I don't know if this one's it. But, if you're a Spawn fan, apparently Jamie Foxx, which is a great actor, but he's apparently still working on Spawn with Todd McFarlane, so for what it's worth. Speaking of Blumhouse, Jason Blum, the Big Daddy of Blumhouse.
Big Daddy Blum.
Yeah, Big Daddy Blum. Of Blumhouse films, known for lots of horror and thriller films and all that. Also known that you could almost say the house that Paranormal Activity built, because that's probably one of their, or at least was one of their biggest properties. Well, in an interview recently, which I totally fucking forgot, we got a new Paranormal Activity movie this past year. And I remember...
Did we?
Yeah, exactly. I remember hearing about it, and on my old podcast, I remember talking about, hey, it's coming, but we don't know anything about it. It's coming out in October. I totally fucking forgot. I never even saw it or anything. Apparently, it came out.
Oh yeah, it was that Paramount Plus movie that was really bad. Apparently, I never watched it.
Yeah, it went to streaming, but I mean, they haven't been good for a while. But I'll give people talk a lot of shit about Jason Blum. I'll give him this much: he straight up said, "Yeah, he had a comment saying, the past few they just haven't been good. They're not good movies," and he said he is ready for Paranormal Activity to die.
Yeah,
he is sick of it. He's done with it, and he doesn't want to make any more. Now the story I was reading, it kind of seemed like he was saying it. The wording almost seemed like there was one that they were working on now. I hope not, but either they're working on one, and after that one it's done, or he's just saying no, we're not going to do any more. Yeah. But Paranormal Activity will be coming to an end soon, if it has not already. And I think it's a little bit too late, but hey, at least he realized it. And I will give him this much. He was a man enough to admit that movies he put out, his company put out, they sucked. And he flat out said, these movies weren't good. They sucked. And so this property, bye. Because I'm sure they still made money. I don't know about the streaming one, but I mean, the movies still made money, even if they sucked. But, good on him for that. All right, the only last little tidbit we got this week is that Prey, once again, we're talking about Prey for just a minute, is apparently the most watched Hulu premiere ever, which, myself, I'm like, okay, what does that mean? How many things premiere on Hulu? Is that really a big thing? If you said it was like the most watched Netflix movie ever or premiere, I'd be like, well, that's something. But Hulu, I mean, they're big, but I don't really know what that means. But to add on top of that, Hulu apparently is not in other territories besides America, or not many. It's in most other countries and territories have something called Star Plus or Disney Plus. Because Disney owns Hulu. I think Star Plus and Disney Plus are the same thing. The wording I was kind of confused on, but apparently this movie, Prey, was also the most watched premiere on those platforms as well in other territories. They didn't really talk about Disney Plus in America. But in other platform or other territories, you got the EU and Latin America and things like that. Apparently, Prey was the most watched premiere on Star Plus and Disney Plus in all those territories. And the Hulu thing, I'm kind of like, I mean, that's good, but I don't know how good that is because they don't give numbers either as to how many people watched it. But Disney Plus is still a thing. I mean, they've got some big properties that premiere over there, like their Marvel shows and stuff like that. So I think that is kind of the Predator or prequel is outdoing those shows, at least in other countries. I think that's pretty admirable. So good
this shows you what it could have done if it had been in theaters. Like this just shows you the complete illogical reasoning Disney had with this movie. Like if you think about how well it's doing on Hulu, which is what I would call more of like, you know, the TV shows that you watch like the next day type of programming, even though they do have movies. If you think about it, if they had released this in movie theaters, it could have done like $50 million. So
Yeah, oh yeah.
I'm just
I think
saying,
it
like
would've
they
been-
fucked up.
Yeah,
Big time.
everybody's saying that you should have released this in theaters. I
Yeah.
mean, we'll never know how it would have done, but especially right now, if they released it now, there's not. This would have been last week would have been the perfect week to release it because there's. I mean, you
Yeah.
got Bullet Train, but I think that this and Bullet Train could coexist in the movie theaters. I think this would have been number one at the box office because this movie's.
Probably.
I think I would have gone to
People-
see it. I mean, beyond the fact that I
Yeah.
have a channel, but yeah, I think it could have done very
People
well.
love
at theaters.
Predator, so
Yeah, and this was a solid Predator movie. It's got lots of word of mouth, so maybe I guess they just didn't have faith in the property or something like that. But hey, that's Disney. You best believe now it's been a big hit. Disney finna Disney. So we're gonna get some more theatrical Predator, and we're gonna get a whole bunch of it. So mark my words, it's coming. Probably a Prey sequel because Disney's originality is not really out there. But that is whatever I end up calling this segment at some point in time if we continue to do it. This week's little blurbs that didn't deserve their own thing. So, alrighty, let's get the official show started and jump right into this thing. We're already almost 30 minutes in. Ouch. I did say this would be a shorter show, didn't I? All right, let's jump on into our first story and plow on through these things. And the first thing we're going to talk about this week, probably the biggest story of the week, would be that Peter Jackson, you know, you may have heard the name before. He's made a few things. He made Lord of the Rings. He also made The Hobbit, but he made Lord of the Rings. That's what he's most well known for. He's made a lot of other stuff. But apparently Peter Jackson was, in their words, ghosted by the makers of the Rings of Power. For those of you that don't know, the Rings of Power is the new Amazon Lord of the Rings prequel series.
Yeah.
It actually takes place in
Yeah.
the Second Age, which is hundreds of years before the Lord of the Rings movies took place. But it's the Lord of the Rings TV show, and they're making it. And he's saying that they ghosted him, that they talked to him and then wouldn't talk to him anymore. And also, as a side note, he wanted to get hypnotized, which we'll get there. So, in an interview, he said, they asked me if I wanted to be involved. Fran Walsh, which is his writer-producer comrade, and I think his wife, and I said, that's an impossible question to answer without seeing a script, Jackson recalled. So they said, as soon as we get the first couple of scripts, we'll send them to you. And the scripts never showed up. That's the last thing I heard, which is fine. No complaints at all. He also, in another interview, spoke about it and said, about 4 or 5 years ago, they asked if I would be interested in it. The director says, so I said, have you got scripts yet? Because I know how hard the scripts were to write for the films. And I didn't know the people writing the scripts. They said, oh no, we haven't got scripts yet. But as soon as we do, we'll send you the scripts. So I was waiting for the scripts to arrive, and they never did. And apparently, there was another thing. I don't have any of the reporting on it, but apparently he did at some point. I don't know how true this is. Some are saying that he did try to contact them and kind of ask, like, well, what's going on with it? And they just, nothing, like, blackout. And, that's, I guess that's they can do that. They own the rights. Now, a little tidbit of information before I get into their response to this. Christopher Tolkien. He is the son of J.R.R. Tolkien, the son of the famed author, apparently hated Peter Jackson's movies. He had some words about him. He didn't care for him. Now, Christopher Tolkien was the head of the Tolkien estate, up until 2020 when he died. So he passed away 2 years and change from now. Amazon reportedly said, in pursuing the rights for our show, we were obligated to keep the series distinct and separate from the films. We have the utmost respect for Peter Jackson and the Lord of the Rings films and are thrilled that he is looking forward to watching the Rings of Power.
Fucked up thing to say.
Yeah. He doesn't seem to be upset about it. He's just kind of like, I mean, of course he talked about it, so it seems like he's kind of like, I mean, why the hell you contact me and then you ghost me? Why the hell would you do that? But I mean, I get, and people were saying, you know, Christopher Tolkien, when they started the production on this show, he could say, like, if he didn't want Jackson included as part of the production, then, you know, they had to oblige that. I get it. But he died in 2020. I mean, after that, I mean, I guess they could say, hey, he didn't want him, so we didn't want to go there. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. It just seems a little fishy. Because also you go, I got to look at where the things we've been hearing about this show and the directions they're going and some of the changes they're making and some of the things they're doing don't sound like they line up with Peter Jackson's. They don't sound like they line up with J.R.R. Tolkien's view of that world, much less Peter Jackson's. And Peter Jackson has said a few things concerning those shows. What we have seen, he said, that seems a little bit off. So I do wonder if, you know, they just, you know, they're taking it in a different direction. It seems, to a degree. I don't know. We haven't seen this yet. I just found this odd when you've got the guy. The reason you're making a fucking show right now is because he made those movies. I mean, there's nothing, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Yes, Lord of the Rings was a thing before Peter Jackson, but it had kind of slowly fallen out of the public eye. He brought that shit back to life. Look at the show. It's clearly taking on his template. Like, it's mirroring the way he made those movies. It's his tone. So I don't understand why they would even offer it to him and then just not call back, or at least as a consultant or something. I mean, it'd be great if they were able to say Peter Jackson, you know, approves or whatever, or have him involved even in the slightest way, just so you could throw his name out there. But no, they just said, fuck it, we're not doing that. What do you think's going on here? I mean, I got all kinds of questions about it, but what do you think is going on here? Am I crazy?
No, I think Peter Jackson is integral to Lord of the Rings. I think Christopher Tolkien. I'm more curious of what J.R.R. Tolkien would have said, because, you know, one of the biggest fans of the Lord of the Rings was, of course, Christopher Lee, and he had no problems being in the movie. And I feel like this is a problem where the studio got the rights to Lord of the Rings, and they decided to do a prequel series. And like George Lucas with the Star Wars series, they didn't feel that they needed to have Peter Jackson's involvement in it. And what they did with the whole ghosting thing is a little fucked up. You don't promise something to somebody and then not deliver on it. It's like, you know, me promising that I'm going, you know, or me promising I'm going to, you know, put out a movie or something like that, and I'm going to let my friends see it and then never let my friends see it and put out the movie. It makes, you know, a lot of money. It's the same shit. It's like, you know, who cares that the Lord of the Rings, in order to be turned into a viable entertainment property, has to be changed around a little bit. It's just the unfortunate situation when it comes to like Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings and Wheel of Time and shit like that, because they're difficult books to get through. And I don't know. I feel like Peter Jackson deserved a little more respect than he gets. And yeah, the Hobbit movies were terrible, but you're dealing with a writer strike. You're dealing with the whole change with Guillermo del Toro leaving. You're just dealing with all this shit. And not all of it's Peter Jackson's fault. Most of it can be, but it's just like, I don't know. I feel like they're just kind of being idiots. You're spending $600 million on a property that is worrisome, I guess.
Even though those Hobbit movies are very divisive, and most people, I think, agree that they're not up to the quality of the Lord of the Rings, regardless of what you think about them. I think I'm a huge Tolkien fan, so
yeah,
I think they're okay. They're not. I do absolutely. They do not stand up to the Lord of the Rings. Like they are it's in a different league than them. But
well,
I mean, can
I ask you this?
What?
No. Can I ask you this question? You watch Lord of the Rings as being a huge super fan of Lord of the Rings, and you've talked about how it's like your favorite movie series of all time. Mm-hmm. Somebody who loves like the books, like the Silmarillion, and I think that's how you say it, and like Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit. I mean, I know Christopher Tolkien's the son of J.R.R. Tolkien. He's just trying to be protective, but somebody who's a super fan like you or Christopher Lee, do you find it problematic that they did as much as they did with the movie series? Is there problems that you have, like, with changes they made, or do you feel like he did it for the right reasons? I mean, that's what is a problem here as well. Like with the series, the TV series, Peter Jackson's just, he's being unfairly treated, but he also says, I'm a little worried about what they're doing with this new property. Like, how do you view it as a super fan, somebody who loves his books?
I mean, I read the books first, of course. Well, not of course, but I did. I read them when I was a kid.
Mhm.
I've read them a few times. And the movies I've seen so many times I could probably, say the lines as they're reading them off. I think they did a great job with the books. I mean, with the movies, because while they're not, yes, there's differences there. There's a few things missing, and there's a couple of things added. It's nothing. It all makes sense. It's a different medium. You have a book, and then you have a film. It is one of the most, in my opinion, one of the best adaptations, because there's that word, adaptation. It is one of the best adaptations of a literal work I've ever seen, because it took this huge, vast world and put it in a way that we could understand it. Not we, but like even people that haven't read the books, and it gets it gets the vast majority of that world in there. Yes, there are some things that are different, I know. So if you're a huge Lord of the Rings fan, such as myself, don't come in here talking like they didn't do Tom Bombadil. I get that, and yeah, there are things that are different. But as a whole, I think they did a fantastic job with it. And those movies are my favorite. That is my favorite film ever, because it was perfect, pretty damn near perfect in just about every way. And yes, I do think it adapted that story perfect. I get why Christopher Lee loved it so much. Christopher Tolkien, I don't know why he didn't like it. I mean, he's not his father. Yes, he's J.R.R. Tolkien's kid, but I mean, hell, if you've ever had kids, your kids could be the most different thing from you in the world. I mean, and he did compile like the Silmarillion. I think he was the one who actually put all that together. It was based on his father's writings, but he actually contributed to that and put it all together. So I mean, he has stake in the game, especially with this show, because this show is very much based on that, not the Lord of the Rings itself. But from what I understand, but I don't know. I can't say why the guy didn't like it. I haven't read enough into it as to what he didn't like about it. But me, myself, personally, as a fan who have been a fan for decades at this point of the book series, I thought the films did a fantastic job of adapting it all and just putting it on screen for us in a way that we could, even those that aren't fans of the book, could understand it and enjoy it. So, I don't know.
At least you don't have to. At least you don't have to be a Dark Tower fan and have to deal with a movie that's 90 minutes long.
I am a Dark Tower fan. That's my second favorite.
Well,
book.
know the pain then, right?
Yes.
After watching that shitty movie.
Well, the Dark Tower
that's a different
series,
subject, but
which is Stephen King's Lord of the Rings. He said that before. Oh man, that's just so sad. But anyway, we're not gonna get. I'll go on a tangent about that shit. But yeah, he's Peter Jackson, been ghosted. He's not part of this show whatsoever at all. Was asked, but then said, no, you shall not pass. And he's not getting to put his stamp on it or even see it. Now, on that note, real quick, this was actually a separate story, but I read it at the same time, and I just wanted to kind of throw it in here. On viewing the Lord of the Rings movies, and he has said that, I'm going to watch the show. I'm looking forward to it. Of course he is. He's the creator of the movies. Of course he's going to watch the show. He said he had a comment on another, I think it was maybe one of the same interviews that some of this came out, in talking about his films, Lord of the Rings. He said, I actually did seriously consider going to some hypnotherapy guy to hypnotize me, to make me forget about the films and the work I had done over the last 6 or 7 years, so I could sit and enjoy them like everyone else. I didn't follow through with it, but I did talk to British mentalist Darren Brown about that, and he thought he could do it. That's pretty cool. I mean, I've wondered that quite a bit about directors and people that are deeply involved in these movies that they really
George Lucas
want to make, and then they're like, I don't get to experience this like everybody else because I know it's going to happen. I already know what's going on. So, hey, there it is. I mean, even Peter Jackson, he feels like he got the short end of the stick, because it's kind of like he took one for the team. Hey, Lord of the Rings fans, I'll do this. I'll take that. I don't get to watch it with you, but I'll make these movies so the world can have them. I think that's pretty cool.
I mean, it's cool and all that he wants to do that, but he's got to also understand and realize that if it weren't for him, he wouldn't have made these movies. I understand for instance, wanting to go back and watch like for instance, me wanting to go back and watch Lost all over again, like re-experience it. But it's like a double-edged sword. It's like, you wanted to go back and see it for the first time, but he has to realize that he put all this on his shoulders, and he created, or not created, but he actually developed it into a movie series. And it's like George Lucas trying to reconfigure his whole Star Wars series. It's like, I think at some point you just have to come to the conclusion that it's just the way things are. Steven Spielberg probably wishes he could go and watch Jaws and not have to deal with the nonsense that he had to deal with Jaws or Raiders or anything like that. But it's like, I'm like, Peter, you created like the greatest thing ever known to man when it comes to a trilogy and a series, and you should be happy about that. But apparently, as a creator, you're just never happy and just never want to be satisfied. And I don't know.
Calm down, Peter.
Calm down, Peter.
But no, I maybe if he had done that though, he wouldn't have had those experiences in his head, and then when he went on to make The Hobbit, it would have been better. I don't know. We'll never know.
He needs the thing from Payback, the little machine that erases your memory.
Yeah, that's what he needs. All right, so all right. Well, I mean, and that's all there is. We'll never know the whole story there, but he has been ghosted by them. And if you're looking forward to this show, just know, if you love the movies and you're looking forward to this show, that's fine. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I have reservations, that's for sure, based on everything I've heard, but I will not judge it until I've seen it. Now, something I will judge, or someone I will judge, based on their comments, not their movies, because I enjoy this gentleman's movies for the most part, would be Kevin Smith. Now, Kevin Smith's been kind of chatty here recently, and he's decided to talk some shit about WB. And if I were Kevin Smith, based on what happened, depending on who you believe on the order in which these things happen, he probably immediately regretted it. And that would be, he weighed in and put his comments in on the whole everything that's going on with with WB, but most notably Batgirl. Now I'm going to read through these comments and then we're going to discuss, because I want to get your thoughts on these comments first, and then I'll tell you what I think. In his own words, Mr. Smith said, "It's an incredibly bad look to cancel the Latina Batgirl movie," Smith lamented. "I don't give a shit if the movie was absolute fucking dog shit. I guarantee you that it wasn't. The two directors," I'm not even going to attempt that. I just don't want to offend anybody, but the two directors of the movie, who directed that movie, did a couple of episodes of Miss Marvel, and it was a wonderful fucking show. And they had more money to do Batgirl than they had to do an episode of Miss Marvel and stuff. He also went on to say, "I love all the CW shows, but the CW shows show their budgetary constraints." I agree. They said Batgirl looked too cheap because it was a $90 million movie. How do you make a cheap-looking $90 million movie? I kind of agree with that, too. If it looks slightly better than an episode of Arrow, then why couldn't we see that? He went on to say, "I don't give a shit how bad the Batgirl movie is. Nobody in that movie is complicated or has anything in their... This is concerning The Flash, by the way. "I don't give a shit how bad the Batgirl movie is. Nobody in that movie is complicated or has anything in their real life you have to market around." Smith summed up, "In the Flash movie, we all know there's a big problem. Flash is the reverse Flash in real life," referencing Ezra Miller and all his crazy-ass shit that's going on right now. There is more, but we'll talk about that in a minute. What do you think about his what is your honest opinion on his comments concerning Batgirl and even the Flash here?
I think at a point Kevin Smith felt like he was the king of geeks and he could say whatever he wants, and I know he's very popular, but I'm not trying to say he's wrong and saying what he wants to say, but there's reasonings for why the studios do the things they do. If you let it get out of control and it becomes terrible, it's going to be a problem. And maybe Kevin Smith is right. I don't know, but it just feels like sometimes he's got his head up his ass and he's saying stuff like this. And I I don't know. It bothers me. It really does.
Oh, he's definitely got to set up his ass.
Yeah,
That's
very
my
well.
opinion, my opinion.
Look at Hoga users or whatever the fuck that yoga hosers.
Well, when it comes to Kevin Smith, me myself personally, I love his early films.
Yeah,
Clerks.
yeah.
Even Mallrats, which is seen as one of his lesser films, and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, all that. I like some of his later stuff. I like Tusk. I ain't gonna lie. I'll put it out there. I enjoyed Tusk. I thought it was just goofy and out there. Yoga Hosers, no, I didn't. That movie was not good, and I did not like the latest Jay and Silent Bob movie. I love Jay and Silent Bob, but I thought that movie was just derivative and just not funny. It was just unfunny, and it seemed cheaper than his other movies. Not in like a money aspect. It seemed like a fan film, but he's the original creator. That's my opinion. I know you enjoyed it a bit more, from what I remember. He's working on Clerks 3. I'm looking forward to Clerks 3. Hopefully, he's a bit inconsistent as of late, in my opinion. But I still overall will say that I look forward to a Kevin Smith movie when it's coming out. Now I can draw a line in the sand and say, this is the person's personal life. I may not like things they do, but in their creative life and their professional life, I enjoy the stuff they put out. Like the Flash movie. Ezra Miller is a fucking menace and he's insane. But if the Flash movie comes out next year and it's good, then I'm going to say, hey, I really enjoyed that movie and Ezra Miller was whatever in it. I'm not going to hold his personal life against him for that movie, against the movie, because he's not the only one making it. My unfiltered view on these comments is, shut the fuck up, Kevin Smith. What are you talking about? You sit here and say, how dare you not release it, even if it's dog shit. Now, he did say, I guarantee you it wasn't. How the fuck do you know? You haven't seen it. You don't fucking know. Just because these directors made something good.
I would just say he may have seen parts of it because, he is Kevin Smith. But it's like,
I figured he would have said that, though. I mean, what's keeping him from saying it? I figured he'd be like, I've seen part of it. It ain't shit, to back up his claims.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. There is the offshoot chance he's seen part of it, but I'm not getting that from his comments.
Yeah. No, I get you. Yeah. It's just, this whole Warner Brothers debacle is more of just people. I hate to be like this, but people want something that it's like the whole. I know you like the Snyder Justice League, but if it weren't for Snyder doing the Justice League movie and it was fans doing it, fans don't know what the fuck they want. No, they really don't. They absolutely do not know what the fuck they want, and that's the whole problem with the Warner Brothers situation. And Kevin Smith is actually one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. He's like a really cool dude. He just is. He's like a huge nerd fan type of person, but even at some point, he has to understand that saying things and opening your mouth and spouting out things can maybe not settle well, you could say. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, you're in the public eye, man. You need to at least have somewhat of a filter. I know people like, I love so-and-so because they're unfiltered. Until they say something you don't like, I just can't get behind a comment that I don't give a shit if the movie was absolute fucking dog shit just because it's the Latina Batgirl movie. Because that's what that comment, it says, it's an incredibly bad look to cancel the Latina Batgirl movie. I don't give a shit if it was absolute fucking dog shit. You should. Yeah. Because if it was, I mean, yeah, and they said it looked cheap because it was a $90 million movie. Maybe, yeah, I look at it and I'm like, how do you take $90 million and make anything look cheap? I mean, shit. I think The Matrix was made for like 100 or something like that, or under 100. I could be wrong.
Like the last one?
No, the first one, the first Matrix.
Oh yeah. It was made for like, I think it was made for like 60 or some shit.
Yeah, it was made for less than that. No, I mean, it was a different time, but still, I mean, great movies have been made for less, but I mean, maybe they bit off more than they could chew. These directors, I mean, I put my thoughts about Miss Marvel out there. I don't think it was terrible, but it wasn't a fantastic show or whatever he said. In my opinion, that's my opinion. But I mean, the vast majority of people are saying that, yeah, it was fine, but it wasn't, monumental.
Yeah.
So no, I don't, and plenty of great directors have made shit. And who knows what all the situation going on there with this movie. I mean, it started as a $60 million movie and ballooned to $90 million. Actually, they had said that it may have ballooned to $100 million. So it almost doubled its budget in production. So something was wrong there. I'm not saying it was the director's fault. Maybe it was they didn't. I don't know. I don't know what it was. I'll never know. But they made a decision to lose $90 fucking million, and it was not because this was a Latina Batgirl movie. There had to be something behind that. No corporate, because say what you will, I'm not sitting here saying Warner Brothers is like the greatest company ever, but they about some money, and if they're gonna lose $90 million, there's a reason behind it. They're not just gonna let it go. That's my opinion. I don't think it was what he's alleging here. I don't know. And yeah, I would never as a creator or even as a non-creator say that I don't give a shit if the movie was dog shit, nor am I going to say, I mean, I may go into a movie like Avatar 2. I'm going into that movie, James Cameron's making it. That gives me a lot of faith. He has a proven track record. But if it sucks, it sucks. I'm not going to go into it and just say, oh, it can't suck because he makes it. I'm going to say it probably won't because he's making it and he's got a track record. But like these guys, even if you think that Miss Marvel is fantastic, you can't sit here and say that this totally different property is going to be perfect and great because they made it. It just doesn't work that way. Look, Kevin Smith himself.
Yeah.
He's made some fantastic movies, but he also made that last reboot Jay and Silent Bob thing and Yoga Hosers. But as far as like the Flash thing, because some people have been throwing that out there, why is the Flash not getting canceled? Why is it still being made and Batgirl's canceled? Because Warner Brothers itself has already said, I've seen The Flash, we've seen The Flash, we think it's a good movie. There's that, and they were saying that Batgirl was not a good movie. But The Flash had a whole lot more money behind it. So it probably looks better, and I mean, by default you would think. The Flash is always also a much more established character than Batgirl. Say what you will, love that character all you want. I'm pretty sure The Flash mindshare is on up there more than Batgirl. It just is what it is. In this movie, it was the return of Michael Keaton as Batman and all these other things in Flashpoint. It's connected to the Snyderverse. That movie is going to make more money. If you put Batgirl out the way it is now and The Flash out the way it is now, with everything going on in the world, even with Ezra Miller out there like robbing people and beating women up and having babies gargling bullets and all that shit, The Flash is going to make more money because it's just he's a more popular character at the moment, at least, than Batgirl. It is what it is. I mean, call bull. Yep. Am I full of shit? If I am, say you're full of shit.
Well, I mean, you're full of shit, but no, you're right.
In this situation, am I full of shit?
No.
I mean, it all comes down to money. That's what it is.
Yep.
Flash is going to make more money. That's why it's still out there. I mean, yeah, Ezra Miller's doing crazy shit out in the world. And does that mean that they won't eventually be like, all right, dude, you've done too much. We can't. It's too toxic. Got to get away from it. No, but I think that they're going to try everything in their power to salvage that movie. I mean, Batgirl didn't have anything like that. It had Brendan Fraser. And it had J.K. Simmons, which is great, but I mean, he was a side character. And Leslie Grace, nothing against her, but she's Batgirl. I mean, there's nothing there that just like, oh, guaranteed sell. No, it's not.
Right.
And also on top of that, they were saying, lots of reports were saying it wasn't good. And also I look at this, I'm like, before this whole thing about how Batgirl had been canceled came up last week or whatever, nobody gave a shit about that movie. And anytime the movie came up, people talked about how, oh, that movie's going to suck. It's going to be terrible. Everything you looked up prior to last week about Batgirl the movie was negative. I mean, go look it up. I'm sure you can find something somebody said positive, but the vast majority of the reports, vast majority of the people that were thinking about it, talking about it, and all that was negative. Nobody was looking forward to that movie. Nobody thought it was going to be good. People were saying they've seen it, it wasn't good. Now it gets canceled, and yeah, it's got some people, some actors, and some stuff involved in it that we all like and respect. Now people are like, oh, it would have been great. No, it's the same movie that it was last week or prior to that. That didn't change. It sucks that it got canceled and those people did work. But apparently that work, for whatever reason, not saying whose fault it was, didn't work out. But, that's my 2 cents on it.
Yeah.
Moving on from there, within this same story. Now, there's conflicting reports on this. But after Kevin Smith said all that, I'm going to go on the way that the stories rolled out, because this story about him talking all that, and he said more stuff. That was just what I clipped out of it, talking smack about Warner Brothers and it's fucking bullshit that they did this. He was involved over at Warner Brothers in a show, an upcoming anthology show called Strange Adventures, the DC comic book anthology series, where it was going to deal with lower tier characters, and it was going to cost a fair amount of money to make each episode, etc., etc. Well, right after saying these comments and them being put out there in the world and reporting on it, suddenly Kevin Smith's Strange Adventures DC comic book anthology series has been axed by Warner Brothers Discovery and will not be moving forward at HBO Max. Smith, all he really had to say about it was, "Don't feel bad for me. I got paid." Before adding about the future of the episode, we're talking about taking it over to DC Comics and doing a comic book. He had a little bit more talking about how much it costs and that he was wanting Nicolas Cage to be in an episode and all this and that. Now some people have said, and it was reported after the other story, that, this happened prior to that. You're just now hearing about it. It was axed before he said this stuff. But I don't know, man.
Yeah.
We didn't hear about it until after he said this shit, and it was right after he said this shit. We didn't hear nothing about it. And then all of a sudden we start hearing that. It just seems a bit convenient to me that all of a sudden, he talks all this shit to about Warner Brothers, and then suddenly, he's no longer got his show that he's been working on. That just seemed a bit, I don't know, convenient for me. But hey, that's I guess that's Hollywood. What are you? Do you have any thoughts, or what are your thoughts when it comes to that? Do you think that he could possibly that was all shit? Do you think that he actually was axed before?
Man, I'm so blurry right now. What the fuck? Hold on a second. Go back to you for a second.
I was trying to wait it out. I saw you doing that.
I don't know why I'm.
There he is.
Okay, back to me.
He's back. Woo. Crisp and clean. So fresh and so clean.
No, Kevin Smith. He probably has a lot of projects in development, and how this happened with Warner Brothers. I don't know. It's Kevin Smith. You never know what is happening. Maybe this whole thing that he had put together was terrible and stupid, and he has directed.
Well, they were saying that he was saying that it was because it cost so much, and they were saying it was going to be like $20 million an episode or something.
I was going to say that's expensive for Kevin Smith, so he probably wouldn't know what to do
for like B-level characters too.
Right, he probably have like a bunch of weed everywhere.
Like one of them was going to be a Jimmy Olsen episode.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, I'm good with that being canceled. Sometimes you got to cancel a Wonder Twins to proceed in the future, But it's probably canceled for reasons, and he was probably part of it. And said, they said, this isn't working. We don't want to give you $20 million, Kevin Smith, because you get a big head, and all of a sudden you feel like you're the Michael Bay of the indie universe or something. And yeah, I don't know, whatever. I don't know much about the series that you're talking about, but it doesn't sound like it would.
I don't think anybody does.
Yeah, I don't think. It's like the Wonder Twins. I don't think anybody would care if it never came to light. So, yeah.
Well, and
probably a little bit of both.
It may have been before. I don't know, but dude, you don't go talking shit about the company you essentially work for, because he has been tied to DC properties before in the past, and he's part of he has ties at Warner Brothers at least. Don't bite the hand that feeds. And I just can't get behind some of his comments. I mean, if he loved Miss Marvel and all that, good for him. I mean, I didn't think it was terrible. I'm not going to sit here and say because of Miss Marvel I think Batgirl would have been great. No, absolutely not. But just, why? You're fucking famous, man. People are going to take what you say and clip it out. Don't fucking just say what. I mean, I get, be you and say whatever you want, but you're famous. You can't just go out there and say whatever. I mean, people are going to take it and talk shit. They're going to say something about it at that point. And then he'll get, because he has been one to defend himself before. And I mean, you should defend yourself, but you can't get that mad when you're, I mean, it is what it is. That's just life. That's you're famous. That's one of the things that goes along with it. But I don't know. That's Kevin Smith and Warner Brothers and his show getting canceled and all that. But
good times.
Yeah, good times for somebody, not Batgirl and not Kevin Smith. But all right, moving on from there to a more lighthearted story, and this does concern a movie that Nick has seen, and that would be Fall. New movie coming out
Hooray,
from
fall.
Lionsgate. But we're not going to talk. We're going to talk about Fall, but we're going to talk about a specific aspect about Fall, and that is more the company that financed Fall, Lionsgate. You know, the ones who copyright claim every single thing you put on YouTube concerning them. They'll probably copyright claim this because I have a picture of it in the background. I don't know, but Lionsgate said, "Fuck them F-bombs. We're getting them out of here." Yep. Lionsgate has used deepfake software on Fall to remove swearing. The director, Scott Mann, said, "For a movie like this, we can't reshoot it. We're not a big tentpole. We don't have the resources. We don't have the time more than anything else. What really saved this movie and brought it into a wider audience was technology. When we're filming the movie," this is from one of the stars of the movie. "When we were filming the movie, we didn't know if we were R-rated or if we were PG-13 or what, so I said the F word so many times, I think Scott, the director, wanted to kill me in post when we were trying to get a PG-13 rating. According to Mann, the team edited out more than 30 F-bombs. That's the word fuck, for those of you that didn't know. Love that word. Edited out more than 30 F-bombs throughout the movie, changing the film's rating from R-rated to PG-13. Many of the film's most egregious curses were changed to teen-appropriate ones, such as freaking." Now, I haven't seen this movie. I've seen the trailer for it. It looks kind of, maybe okay, depending on its length. I hope it's not a long movie. Nick has. So I'm going to go to him first and say, Nick, you've seen this movie, and I don't know how much you can say about that. Can you speak briefly about, can you speak on this aspect of the movie? I don't know if you embargoes or anything.
No, they didn't give any restrictions. So
okay,
it's a movie about two women stuck on a 2,000-foot tower that they made the mistake of themselves doing. But
could you tell? Yeah, did it stand out? Even not even the deepfake technology, but like how good could you ever tell that? Yeah, that's not real. That their mouth is being manipulated. And also, did the words that they put in place of the titular fucks, did they stand out and seem like, well, come on, really? That's what you said? What was your take on just all of this, considering this movie since you just watched it?
No, honestly, and maybe they're doing, when they did the deepfake, they were doing shots from like wide angles or something like that. Because if it was in there, I think the one girl, Becky, who's like the main character of the movie, says fuck once in the movie. And that's, you can say at least once to get a PG-13 rating, but if you didn't know, there's no way to tell, because it's just ludicrous to think that they defaked a movie like this to be PG-13. But yeah, you can't tell. If they're saying stuff that is like, if they're saying fuck, unless you're really looking for it, there's no way to tell that they're saying it, because the way Scott Mann and his DP, his cinematographer, say, just put shots on the screen. It's so kinetic and all over the place that if there's deepfake in there, you can't tell. No, not at all.
Well, was there times that like some of the like freaking? I've seen the trailer to this movie, and the things they're doing, like they're doing these death-defying jumps that just don't make sense to me from the trailer. But whatever. I mean, it's a movie. Yeah. When I read that, I imagined, like, there's a shot in the trailer, like there's a bag hanging off of like this little piece of metal, and this girl like makes this crazy jump, and you said they're 22,000 feet in the air or something like that.
No, 2,000. Yeah, 2,000.
2,000.
They're on a radio tower that's been decommissioned.
Okay, yeah, 22,000 would be like in orbit, but they're way up in the fucking air. It is really high.
Yeah.
And she jumps for it, and it shows her in the trailer jumping, and you don't know if she makes it or not, whatever. I'm assuming she does. Maybe, who knows? I couldn't see her, like, grabbing it and being like, freak! I mean, are there any moments like that in the movie that you're just like, that's a fuck moment? I don't know if that stands out.
I mean, they're pretty good at, like, hiding the fucks in the movie. like they can't even give a fuck with the movie itself. Like, they're hiding the fucks that they're deep faking. So, they did a pretty decent job. I think the movie has more problems than deep-faking the fucks out of the movie, but it's not noticeable at all. It really isn't.
I get why they do this. A PG-13 movie is going to reach a broader audience, or it did at least at one point in time. I guess it still matters. A broader audience than an R-rated movie. Okay,
Yeah.
it's a business still. I understand. I don't know, but anytime they try and cut something down from one, if it got a rating, that's the movie you wanted to make. Whatever the reasoning behind getting that rating, and to like cut it down to get a lower rating, especially to this, to the point to where you're going to employ deep fake technology and do all this like post production work. I mean, if it's like, hey, shave off 2 seconds off this rape scene to get an R rating over an NC-17 or something like that. I think they had to do that in like that one movie where they, whatever it was, Last House on the Left. Okay, I get that. That's understandable, but I don't know. If you're making an R-rated movie, if you made an R-rated movie, just release an R-rated movie. That's my opinion, but at the same time, it's a business. I understand that. Do you think that this would have been better suited as an R-rated movie, or was it okay as PG-13?
No, because PG-13's gotten to a point where it like if they can figure out a way to skirt it, it can borderline R. To be fairly honest, I mean, to be honest, look at Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. That movie could have been easily a rated R, but they skirted it by snipping stuff out. But I just think it's funny that they can have violence and they can have all this stuff in here, but they say fuck too many times, and it's like the whole South Park Bigger, Longer, Uncut and Team America. They like put more shit in there to piss them off, or not to try and piss them off, and they actually still got the R rating. And like here, just having a deep fake something is just, I don't know. As long, I guess it worked, but
seems like a bit much to think about. I mean,
yeah, it really is. The movie's terrible. The movie's not terrible, but the movie's not great to begin with. So them deepfaking a fuck is not going to make my opinion any better or worse.
This seems like a streaming movie to me. I know it's coming to theaters.
Yeah. Oh, but they can't put Prey in the theaters, but they of course can bring Fall. To the theaters.
I just feel like whatever. I feel like this would have been a movie. This is a movie that is going to get viewed on streaming more than theaters, regardless of its rating.
Yeah.
So I'm like, just release the R rating. I mean, or the R rated one. Why? That just seems like a lot of extra work when you're sitting here talking about we can't do this, we can't do that because we have such a tight budget. I mean, you're doing this. What? Just release the R-rated version, and if it's R-rated at least, maybe people think it's because it seems like it was R for language and language alone. If it's R-rated, maybe people will want to see it because they think maybe it's going to be like gruesome or something. I don't.
Well, I mean, I won't go into too many details, but the fucks are not the worst part about this movie when it comes to the visceral experience. But what I was gonna say is, like, you can't make this movie R-rated, but you're gonna give us 14 more minutes of that god awful stupidity of a film called Jurassic World Dominion, and yet we can't. I mean, like, I honestly think if they added a few more fucks into the Fall, it would have actually made it a little bit better of a movie, because like it just feels like the stakes are, outside of me being like terrified of heights, it feels like the stakes are a little bit wanting in this movie. But we're getting 14 minutes. I know I keep saying this, but we're getting 14 minutes of Jurassic World boredom, or Vinium, or whatever you want to call it. So I don't know.
The latest Jurassic World
Dominion. Yeah. So.
Well, I don't know. And this is kind of, there's not a lot to this. It's more just that this is what they're doing to our movies, and we're hearing about this one. At what point are they just going to be making movies? They're going to make one way and then start deep faking stuff out of it. And I don't. This is kind of tame, I suppose. Not a big deal. Okay, they're taking some fucks out. Not the end of the world.
Yeah.
But what happens when they start taking more out? When they start totally changing things, and we're watching actors on screen, and we're like, is that really the actor? I mean, are they?
It's the whole smoking. Yeah, it's the whole smoking bullshit. It's like, you're just you're neutering for neutering's sake to appeal to an audience that they're going to go see it if it's R-rated or PG-13 anyways. So young kids are just, that's what they do. I mean, who gives a shit?
Yeah, you're catering to an audience that you're probably not going to get with this movie either way. I mean, this I look at this movie and I'm like, this is not going to make a lot of money in theaters. I mean, I say that.
It could.
Next Wednesday's show, number one movie in America is Fall. But I don't see it. I see this as like, I do see this movie possibly picking up traction on streaming. And I mean, the rating doesn't matter there. Not really. I mean, people going to watch whatever on streaming. So, I don't know. It just seems like extra work for not really any reason. Just to put a PG-13. When I see PG-13 on a movie like this, when I see a movie, if I just saw the movie being PG-13, I'd be like, okay, fine. But when I see that this movie came out, or they made this movie and it received R, and then they cut it down to PG-13, it makes me say, okay, they neutered it. Now, we know in this situation it's just words, supposedly. But I see that and I'm like, oh, they cut the movie back so much that they just cut a lot out of it and cut some of the heart and soul out of it. And at some point, that's what's going to start happening. That's happened in the past. We've gotten that with movies, but now they have AI that can go in and edit it for you, and do all this stuff and totally change things that were already shot. So that's this situation, not the end of the world, but other situations.
Yeah.
I mean, it could get bad. This could end up being a bad thing moving forward, altering movies like this to like appease a ratings board. And I guess they've been doing things like that in movies in the movies for years, but now it's just an all new level. We have new technology. So
I could go for 3 hours discussing the whole ratings board bullshit nonsense. So
it's pretty ridiculous, but
it's a fucking disaster. Yeah.
So fall. If you're looking forward to fall, and you were looking forward to fall, and you're a connoisseur of the word fuck, well, then you're shit out of luck because you're fucked because they've taken all the fucks out of fall. Fall has no more fucks to give. It gave them all to deepfake technology. No more fucks. Alrighty. So what do you? This next story, I'm gonna rely on you a bit, which seems to be a trend for today. What do you think about a movie that came out a few years ago? Actually, it's a series now, The Strangers. Because I haven't seen The Strangers. I started it one time.
Really?
Yeah, I started it. I watched a few minutes of it. I never I didn't get into it. It's one of those movies I keep saying I'm going to watch it eventually. I heard the second one was not good. Prey by Night, I think it's called.
Yeah, no, it was fucking awful.
The first one I know has a rabid fan base, but I can't say because I haven't finished it. I haven't seen it. I know what happens in the end. That's the other thing is I know how it ends. So it's kind of like some of the mystique is taken away for me, so I don't feel the need to watch it. But I will watch it eventually, I guess, maybe. What do you think of the movie The Strangers? 2008, I believe it came out.
The Strangers actually is pretty good. It came in a time when you had like Vacancy, and that movie that James Mangold directed, the one with based off 10 Little Indians. John Cusack in it.
Funny Games?
No, Funny Games too, and there was one with John Cusack and Ray Liotta and
Identity.
Yeah, Identity. Yeah, it came at a time with those types of that's a good film. But it came at a time when those films were coming out, so it makes a lot of sense that it would be successful because that's the time period it was. I don't think it's like the greatest movie in the world. It has the dude from Underworld in it and playing the husband, and it has Liv Tyler playing the wife. Yes, thank you, Scott Speedman,
and Speed too.
But it's not like the greatest film in the world, but it's enjoyable. It's a good early 2000s horror film. It's based off a true story apparently, which is crazy.
Yeah, vaguely.
Prey by Night.
I do know that like it's very loosely based on a true story because nobody really knows what happened.
Yeah, right. But it's like what's that fucking The Purge, where it's entertaining for what it's worth, but it's not like
Home Invasion.
Home Invasion. That's right. Yeah, exactly. So I enjoyed it. It's not the greatest film in the world. So
well, what would you say? And this part of this news got released actually a bit earlier than the second part I'm going to talk about. But what would you say if I told you that The Strangers, which already has one sequel, is getting 3 more sequels?
So what's the next story?
Yeah, right.
No. This is Overload. This is like when they did Paranormal Activity and Saw. I liked the first couple Saw movies, but then it got ridiculous and stupid, and
at least those came out within a similar time that the originals did. Though this is what 15 years later.
Yeah, that's the problem. Prey by Night came out like a long time after the original movie, and it was awful. I hate horror films. No, I really don't hate horror films. I hate I hate the fact of like the marketing machine.
He said it, not me.
Fucking marketing machine. Yeah, no, I love horror films. Like Halloween's one of my favorite horror films, but the marketing machine of when a horror films becomes successful is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. It's worse than animated films, to be fairly honest. And you watch like an original horror film like Paranormal Activity or Halloween, and then you get 25 sequels after that, and it's just like, okay, I don't care anymore. Just what do we have next? It's like a
Yeah.
Halloween, the new trilogy that just came out. What do we have next? Yeah.
Well, I don't know if this next piece, which is actually the crux of this story, will change your mind on it. Maybe it will. We'll find out. Apparently, these 3 sequels that we're getting for The Strangers, no story details or anything like that. We don't know when they're coming, how they're coming, but we do know one thing about them, and that is that Rennie Harlan will direct at least one of the planned sequels, though he may actually end up directing all 3. Harlan is known, by the way, for his genre work, having directed films such as A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, Exorcist, The Beginning, and of course, one of my favorites, Deep Blue Sea. I guess when I read this, not having seen the original Strangers, but understanding what it is and knowing basically what it is, and knowing that it's been so long, and okay, Rennie Harlan's why? That's all I could think. That is all I got. Why? 3 Stranger sequels after we've already gotten one. If there had never been a Stranger sequel, I think maybe that might make even just a little bit more. I'd still be saying why, but there was a Stranger sequel that, while it made money, apparently it didn't light the world on fire. Most people, I think, said it wasn't good, like you said. But why are we getting not one? If they were doing one, I'd be like, okay, they're doing another Stranger. No, they're doing fucking 3. And some people are saying that it may be a situation like Fear Street, where they're doing 3 movies that have an overarching story, which, what I know about these characters and this film, it doesn't, I don't know. It doesn't seem like there's something there, but we are getting them. They may all be linked, and Rennie Harlan may be directing them all. What do you think about Rennie Harlan and this news that he's going to be taking on this iconic franchise?
Well, go to you for a second. Just do this for me. Hold on a second.
Oh.
Wait, hold on a second. I don't know if this is gonna work. No. Okay, come back to me. This is how I feel. This is how I'm doing the rest of the show. No, I'm kidding. Rennie Harlan is not the worst director. Yeah, I'm no assessor. Rennie Harlan is not the worst director. We can clearly say who the worst director is, and that, of course, is Uwe Ball or George Lucas. No, I'm kidding.
Once again, no, he said it. The Uwe Boll thing, I think people will agree with you with. He said the George Lucas thing.
Well, no, but Rennie Harlan has directed like The Long Kiss Goodnight, and he directed. I think he did Long Kiss Goodnight.
Cliffhanger, yeah, he did Long Kiss Goodnight.
Yeah, Cliffhanger and Die Hard 2, Die Harder. You know, he's a director that is kind of like Brett Ratner, where he's a director for hire. But I think the main problem is they're doing 3 films. I don't care if they're gonna do what they did with Fear Street. I don't really need 3 more Stranger movies. I don't. So I really don't care about this.
Me neither.
So yeah.
But I mean, the movies are popular, or the movie was popular. So I'm just kind of really just why, after all this time, who was sitting there in a boardroom and just, because that's where this came from, was a fucking boardroom, and said, hey, you know what we need, guys? The Strangers. And everybody, I feel like everybody in the boardroom was like, what? Like in that Guardians of the Galaxy with the one guy, he said Star-Lord, and he goes, who? That's what I think happened when somebody said The Strangers. We need some sequel, some sequel bait here, or some sequels to get some money in. The Strangers. Who? That's what I think happened. I don't understand why this is a thing, unless they just have somebody came up with an amazing idea that nobody else could see coming. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe these movies will come out and just be fucking amazing.
You know what? I've eaten some terrible pizza, and I've eaten some great pizza. Maybe we'll get some great pizza out of this. I don't know.
I don't see it, though. But
I don't either, but, you know, you got to have faith, as George Michael and Limp Bizkit once said.
Yeah, I'm not going to... Limp Bizkit. I'm not going to judge prior to seeing it, especially since I haven't even seen the original fucking movie. But I do know there's a lot of Strangers fans out there, and if you are a fan of The Strangers from 2008, or even its sequel, just I guess be excited that you're getting 3 more movies. And Rennie Harlan, depending on how you feel about him. That's probably the one thing that made me somewhat, I'm not going to say excited, but kind of like, okay, I'm mildly interested, because Rennie Harlan has made some good and bad movies, but he's made some fun movies. I'll give him that. He made Deep Blue Sea, and if you made Deep Blue Sea, you get a little bit of credit in my book. So
yeah, Longest Good Night is underrated. If people haven't seen that movie, definitely check that movie out too.
Oh yeah, it's you got Gina Davis breaking a elk's neck out in the snow, and yeah, it's another interesting one. But
yeah,
The Strangers fans, you got more coming your way at some point in the relative future, I guess.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Now this next one, this is an interesting one, I thought, which I guess all of them I thought were interesting. But Sonic the Hedgehog, we all know Sonic. We all like Sonic. I really enjoyed the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. I like Sonic the Hedgehog as a character, but when it came to the Sonic movies, Sonic 1 from 2019 and Sonic 2 that just came out in this year, 2022, I really enjoyed the movies, both of them. I liked them.
Yeah.
I thought they were good for what they were. They're really solid video game movies and just fun movies. They're not trying to be Schindler's List. They're just entertaining flicks. Well, Sonic 3, which is teased at the end of Sonic 2. I won't, because I know the movie's still relatively recent. I won't tease what it is it said. None of this is going to spoil any of that, and I'm not going to spoil that. But there's something that happens at the very, very end of the movie, the post-credit, it's not post-credit, it's like mid-credit scene, that shows what could, at least part of what could be happening in Sonic 3. The Sonic 3 has officially been announced. The third Sonic the Hedgehog movie is set to hit cinemas in just over 2 years. Paramount has announced, with a release date of December 20th, 2024. What do you think of this, Nick? Are you looking forward to a Sonic 3? Did you like Sonic and Sonic 2?
I like Sonic. I got a lot of crap for my review of Sonic, but I liked it. Sonic 2 I had problems with, just the simple fact of the whole sister wedding nonsense.
Yeah, that part of it was weaker than the rest, but
yeah.
Okay.
Clearly, you don't want to spoil the fact that Sonic's going to kiss a real live woman in this movie, because that was a thing in Sonic video games.
Yep, the reboot, Sonic the Hedgehog 2006.
Yeah.
Making out with chick.
Here's what I think. If they can keep doing what they're doing and actually make a competent movie with characters that don't look like Satan's and spawns of hell, I think this movie is going to be another good one. You know, bring back the original cast. As much as I hated the wedding stuff and like the FBI husband and bullshit and all that nonsense, James Marsden and I think it was Tika Sumpter, I think that's his wife, whoever it is, were really fun in the movie. They actually made the movie give life, which is never something you want to talk about when it comes to an animated movie with characters that aren't in the video games. So here we're getting a third movie. I'm not spoiling who's gonna be in it, but I think it could lead down an interesting road. You know, we of course learned that Jim Carrey's probably not coming back for the third film. So what they plan on doing, as long as they actually keep to the plan and do it, I think it'll be fun. It'll be entertaining. It's one of the most successful video game adaptations out of like 5 that have happened. You know,
they're crowd pleasing movies. I own both of them.
They're fun.
I think that they're really fun.
Yeah.
I think that they, in the end credit sequence, they establish who most likely the villain character will be. I don't know a lot about that character, honestly, but I am aware of said character. Also, on a side note, Knuckles, the other character in Sonic 2 and a well-known Sonic character, is getting a Paramount Plus TV show, apparently, in Idris Elba.
You know what?
Idris Elba is going to be voicing that character.
That.
But that's coming soon.
Yeah.
But this was all a ruse, because that's not what the story's about.
Oh.
It's about Sonic, yes. But there's an aspect. We don't know what this movie's going to be about besides what the end of the second movie told us. But that's not what I really want to talk about. What I really want to talk about concerning Sonic is something I said. They announced that it's a thing. They're working on it. It's coming out in just over 2 years. I wanted to talk about when it's coming out specifically. I really enjoyed Sonic. I am looking forward to a Sonic 3, actually. I'd be totally on board. If they, like you said, if they follow all that stuff that they did with the previous 2, it could be a good time. And it may be a great movie. It could be the greatest Sonic movie ever made. But there's one major problem, and that is its release date is December 20th, 2024. Now, Nick.
Yes.
Do you happen to know what else comes out on December 20th, 2024?
Another Uwe Ball movie.
I bet they wish that's what it was. Oh no, but it's something else. There's a little movie, a small itty bitty indie flick coming out on December 20th, 2024, and the name of that movie is fucking Avatar 3. Are you fucking crazy, Paramount? What in the hell were they thinking? That date has been out there for literally years at this point, and as far as we know, they're going to stick to it. They ain't going to move because Sonic 3 is releasing on that date, I'll tell you that much.
Sonic needs to move to Thanksgiving. That's how I look at it. It would be a perfect Thanksgiving movie. But you got to remember what happened to The Last Jedi and Jumanji. Jumanji almost outperformed on a ticket-by-ticket sale basis of The Last Jedi. And that movie was predicted to do nothing. But here we have an established property. So put that shit in Thanksgiving. That's what they need to do. They make a lot of money in Thanksgiving than they would in Christmas because they have that. But then again, we have to see how Avatar 2 is before Avatar 3.
Nick.
I know you're an Avatar fan.
No, I'm putting all my fandom aside. And yeah, you are 100% correct. And I agree. We have not seen Avatar 2. We do not know where that series is going, what it's going to do. I don't even care if it was not Avatar. If it was Billy Boobob's Fantastic Ride made by James Cameron. James fucking Cameron has a movie coming out on that day. And it has a hell of an established... It did some things. People are aware of it.
I mean, the real problem, Jacob, and the real thing you should be worried about is we have one movie about an alien world that is the main character is blue and loves, fauna and has, human creatures. And then there's Avatar, you got to worry about this stuff. So I'm telling you what.
This movie will get fucking slaughtered if it releases on that day, unless Avatar 3 changes its release date for some reason. And like I said, it ain't going to be because they look over and said, oh shit, Sonic 3 is coming out on December 20th, 2024. We got to change the date. I mean, unless Paramount happens to know something we don't, that Avatar is not going to make that date. If Avatar 3 comes out, even if Avatar 2 isn't as groundbreaking as we hope it will be, which will it outperform the first one? Probably not. That was ridiculous, the amount of money that movie made. But that movie's going to be popular, and it's probably going to leave off on some type of cliffhanger to a degree, because the second one comes out a year later. Well, 2 years later, I guess. 2022. Yeah, comes out 2 years later. And everything is pointing at that, yes, it is coming out then. This is fucking suicide. And it wasn't a secret that it was coming out. Why would they release it on that day? I don't get it. Come out a week earlier or a week later.
Thanksgiving. That's what I'm saying. Or
move
to the Thanksgiving.
Anytime.
Come out Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Any fucking day, but that day. Why come out that day? They're going to get fucking slaughtered. That is why would they do this? This is just terrible. That's my opinion. I mean, that's all there is to this whole thing, is that they're going to get this is suicide. They're sending Sonic out to die. Either that or they have a whole lot more faith in Sonic the Hedgehog than, anybody. Because even if you dislike Avatar, because there's definitely Avatar haters out there, you have to recognize the juggernaut that it is. And it's just, wow, man, why would you do this? Even if the second one bombs, they don't know that right now. Why even take that chance? I don't get it. I see one of them moving for totally different reasons, but I see one of these movies moving dates. If they don't, well, R.I.P. Sonic the Hedgehog. Who knows? In 2 years, it might come up and it outperforms.
I've seen weirder things.
Avatar 3.
Top Gun Maverick,
Yeah, this ain't Top Gun. Sonic 3 is not going to be Top Gun Maverick, but it could outperform.
That would be amazing.
You
imagine two films doing like $700 million and
yeah. I mean, who knows? We'll find out though. On a related note though, I did want to say that while this isn't this specific story, this is almost like a second story, but we just don't have a lot of info on it. But it is a video game movie If you're looking forward to Sonic 2 or Sonic 3, by the way, good luck. I mean, go see it. It'll probably be in an empty theater if it comes out on that day. But in a related story, video game movie that's coming story, and from the creators, or at least some of the creators, of the Sonic the Hedgehog movies, we are also getting a Pac-Man movie. And not just a Pac-Man movie, but a Pac-Man live-action movie. Let that sink in for a minute. Pixels. Let that sink in. Bandai Namco Entertainment and Wayfarer Studios are teaming up to bring the long-running video game franchise Pac-Man to the big screen. The film is based on an idea from Chuck Williams, a producer who worked on the massive hit Sonic the Hedgehog. A release date or anything else about the film is unknown at this time. So we don't know shit except that the Pac-Man live-action movie is coming. I don't know what to say about this.
No. Honestly, if it turns out like Sonic the Hedgehog, I mean, fuck it. As long as they could have a multiverse, a shared universe with Pac-Man and Sonic.
Does Sonic interacting with human beings kind of can work? Obviously, they've made it work. Why would Pac-Man be interacting with human beings? Because they said live action. That means it's not like CG. I mean, Pac-Man will probably be CG. God, I hope Pac-Man's not live action. What would that monstrosity be?
Can you imagine early concepts before they had to change it because a fan?
And what is this idea? I really just want them. Could they have given us something? What the basic idea is here? Fucking Pac-Man? I mean, Sonic at least has a personality and some type of loose backstory and all. Pac-Man's just waka 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 waka. I mean, he had the fucking TV show that came on years ago, but Miss Pac-Man and the Pacettes are going to show. What's your? I mean, I kind of gather what your thoughts on this are. What do you think about Pac-Man the movie? You looking for? Is this your number one anticipated film for 2026?
It's 2026 now, huh?
I don't know. I'm just pulling dates out of my ass. I mean, they pulled this movie out of their ass.
Well, I found the first official shot of Pac-Man live action, so here we go.
Oh no!
So I'm just gonna talk like this throughout the whole entire.
Jesus.
Okay, so
fucking
Pac-Man,
horrifying.
I know, right? This is terrible. I don't need this in my life. I don't really. Why do they do this to us? They don't learn. I mean, whatever. We'll see what happens, but it's just. I feel like there's too much in our life to worry about, and now we have to do a monstrosity of a character that eats pellets and eats ghosts and has to run around a maze. I mean, I guess if they make it like Labyrinth or something like that, it could be cool. Just have, waka 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 waka, just.
I don't know.
Or
I just don't know.
You have Scott Pilgrim just talk about Pac-Man or whatever during the whole segment. I don't.
Fuck man.
Yeah, fuck man. Fuck yeah.
I don't know. I just don't. I mean, there's not much here. Like I said, we just know that it's coming. We don't know when. We don't know. We know who it's coming from and that it's coming. I mean, they made Sonic Hedgehog into a. But Sonic, I could look at that and I could be like, okay, you could formulate a story there. Pac-Man, how do you fucking make him? And live action, I don't. It could be horrifying. Maybe they're gonna go that Winnie the Pooh movie route. It's gonna be like a horrifying Pac-Man, like a horror movie. I'd see that.
Amazing.
I'd be interested. Yeah, in that.
Right. Half of the creators from Willy's Wonderland make a Pac-Man movie. That would be amazing.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, that's all there is to that. That's why I said this wasn't like its own little story. I just wanted to put that on the tail end of that other one. Video game movies, they're making a comeback, I guess. Pac-Man live action movie. Sure. All right, on to something. Speaking of, I missed a segue there. Pac-Man, he's waka waka waka. Speaking of things eating other things, let's talk about Mike Tyson for a minute.
Yeah, did you know there's a TV show on Hulu about Tyson?
Oh, we're going to talk about that. That's what we're going to talk about, and his thoughts on it. It's not out yet.
He's just making noise.
It's coming soon. It's coming August 25th. But so Mike Tyson's pissed. So everybody, cover your ears, and not because you don't want to hear what he has to say, but because he might bite them motherfuckers off. So, for those of you that don't get that reference, it's kind of old. Hulu's upcoming limited series Mike is a look at Mike Tyson's life and boxing career. Okay, that's in reference to the show that Nick was referencing a moment ago. And he ain't happy about it, apparently. I'm going to read his comments in a minute, but he has his own show coming, or he has another project in the works about his life that's being shopped around. It's not official yet, but it's coming. It's got Antoine Fuqua. It says Jamie Foxx is set to play the boxer in Tyson, a limited series directed by Antoine Fuqua and executive produced by Martin Scorsese. That project, which is currently being shopped to potential networks, has Tyson's full backing. So that's the other Tyson project. It's still being shopped around. It'll probably get made. I mean, with all that is quite the lineup of people behind it, with Fuqua and Scorsese and all that. But Mike Tyson, apparently this show, the Mike show on Hulu, is an unauthorized biopic. He did not give his blessing. I don't know how that works. I guess since he's a public figure, they can do what they want. I don't really know 100%, but apparently they can, and he has no legal ramifications. But he can sure as hell go on Twitter and talk about it. And that he did. And there's only one way to read this stuff. I have to read it in my best Mike Tyson voice.
Do I need to opaque your picture and then have Mike Tyson talking?
No. All right, here we go. Here's what Mr. Tyson had to say about the upcoming Mike Hulu limited series. Who stole my story? They're Goliath and I'm David. Heads will roll for this. He later added that Hulu's model of stealing life rights of celebrities is egregiously greedy. It's egregious, I tell you. Egregiously greedy. So Mike Tyson, he would whoop my ass. Mike Tyson has said that he is not on board with this new Mike show that's coming. Nick is out. He's gone. This is the greatest, Nick. Oh shit. Get that the fuck out of here. But he also said that Hulu's announcement to do my unauthorized miniseries of Tyson's story without compensation, although unfortunate, isn't surprising. All right, that's it. That's all the Tyson. That's all the quotes I got. But apparently, he is not getting compensation or any kind of anything for this thing, and he ain't happy about it. Showrunner Karen Gist said, We just wanted to tell an unbiased story and have the audience decide what they think or feel, challenging what people think they know about Mike and hoping that they come away from the series with something else to think about. Whether you like him or hate him, does the story make you question how complicit society has been? That was the intention. That was the North Star for the writer's room as we're crafting stories. And as I said, Mike premieres on Hulu on August 25th. So, all impressions aside, Nick, what are your thoughts on this of big conglomerates like Hulu making these stories about people that are still alive, and especially when they have other stories in the works they're trying to get told and not including them whatsoever, and no compensation, no nothing. Just like, we're going to make this and you just got to sit there and take it. Take it. What do you think of that?
Well, if you know Hollywood and their system of doing things, this isn't really surprising. It's Hollywood and companies trying to milk everything they have out of people, and we'll see if it's any good. But it's a statement that they've made to try to brush everything under the rug. And I'd be pissed too if they were making an unauthorized bibliography about me.
It's egregiously greedy.
I mean,
It agrees.
Mike
That's
Tyson
how you.
is. I can just see Mike Tyson traveling to Hulu or wherever this premieres and going. I can't do the voice, but you can imagine he's like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all.
They better watch out. He's gonna come up there and uppercut a motherfucker.
Because they're biting ears.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's. I don't know. It does seem kind of dirty, I guess. I mean, he's a public figure. His life's out there. They can tell whatever story they want. I'm sure that there has to be some type of legal ramifications at some point. So they had to probably skirt around some stuff, I'm sure, or limit some of the things that they could or could not say. I get what they're saying. Their vague comment makes it sound as if they want to tell the story for what it is. Like, they're making it sound as if they want to tell an unbiased story, and you make the decision as to whether you think he's good or not. However, also those comments make me feel as if this story that they're telling is probably going to put him in a negative light. So it makes me wonder how unbiased are you being? You know, I mean, we'll never know we won't know until August 25th when the show comes out. I think it'll be obvious at that point whether it was telling a story that is kind of unbiased or if they were telling a story. Because, I mean, Mike Tyson did some shit. He did.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, went to jail many times.
Yeah, and his story, part of his story has already been put out there with like things like I think King or his promoter. I can't remember his name. He had
Don King.
Don King. Yeah, there was a Don King movie, and Mike Tyson was he was in that. He was heavily featured in that in his younger years. So I mean, parts of his story are out there, and his life is out there. I mean, there's not much left to the imagination there. Stuff with was it Vivica? Not Vivica Fox. I don't remember who it was he was accused of like beating up or something like that. But so yeah, I mean, yes, it's within their legal rights to tell the story about this public persona, but it's still it don't seem right, man. I feel like that's a situation where you should get with that person and say, hey, because they're living still, and he's clear. I mean, if he wanted nothing to do with it, that's one thing, but if he's saying, yeah, I'm cool, or I just want to be included in this, or at least compensated or something. I get that, and it seems a little dirty to me, but
it was Robin Gibbons, by the way.
Robin Gibbons. I don't know why I said Vivica Fox.
Yeah,
but
no, you're good.
But I don't know. I do think that. I mean, all joking aside, it's his life. You're telling his story, and I could understand why he'd want to be. I understand where they're coming from, saying, "Hey, we want to tell an unabated. We don't want to be held down by the constraints of having the actual person there to say, hey, don't tell this part or leave this out." But go into it with them and say, "Hey, we want to tell a story, and we're going to tell the good, the bad, and the ugly. Are you okay with that?" And at least have that dialogue. It sounds like they didn't have any of that with him. They were just like, "Nope, you're not part of it. We're going to say what the fuck we want," because then you run the risk of people having their own view and telling false. I mean, who knows? Who knows what the excuse me. But apparently there's going to be another one. If you don't like the one that comes out August 25th on Hulu, you can see the one with Jamie Foxx. He's going to play me. He's going to do a great job. Jamie Foxx is an amazing actor. He's going to play the boxer Tyson, and Tyson, the Limited Series, directed by Antoine Fuqua, produced by Martin Scorsese. And it has my full backing. And it is not egregiously greedy. So yeah, that's the Tyson. The Mike Tyson. He's pissed. Watch out. Mike's on speaking of Pac-Man, he's on a chomping spree, so
steal his tiger.
I will be interested. I'm actually more interested in seeing this show now to see, how egregiously greedy it is. So we will find out on August 25th, but if you're looking forward to some Mike Tyson goodness, you're going to get a lot of it August 25th, and then at some point later on, you're going to get the Scorsese version of Mike Tyson's life coming soon. Alrighty, on to our last story of the day. And you know what we're going to talk about, Nick? Did I tell you? Any ideas?
You may have. I've been too busy staring at this new Pac-Man drawing. So,
well, we're gonna real quick. We're gonna take the show out on a high note.
Oh,
Just an amazing high note. We're going to talk about... Oh, the picture didn't come up. Damn it, man. The sound did, though. I don't know if you heard it, but the chat heard it. We're going to talk about Mortal Kombat.
Oh, no, I didn't hear it. Oh, man.
That didn't work out how I planned. That was very anticlimactic. I can't play too much of that song. I just played Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat. Just play too much, and they'll. I've been hit with a copyright claim for that fucking song on my channel at least 6 times on 6 different videos. But anyway, we're going to talk Mortal Kombat, but not Mortal Kombat the cinematic universe. We're going to talk about the animated universe, and that is because a new animated Mortal Kombat movie has been announced. It was actually leaked. People knew stuff about it, but it now is official. Yeah, we're going to talk if that's a good thing or a bad thing, and we have a few details about it. Mortal Kombat Legends Snowblind is an upcoming sequel to the animated films Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge and Mortal Kombat Legends Battle of the Realms, both of which I have directed, both of which I have reviewed on my channel here. It will be directed and produced by Rick Morales, returning after the first 2 animated films in the series. Writer Jeremy Adams is back after giving us the screenplays for those titles as well.
Wait, did you say Rick Moranis?
Rick Morales.
Oh.
No, not Rick Moranis. But that would be interesting too. But the brief synopsis that we have is that Kano is ready to take over Earthrealm and is destroying towns with 3 Black Dragon mercenaries. Kenshi, a blind swordsman from Japan in Earthrealm, isn't ready to surrender to Kano, though. This appears to be the origin story of how a young and undisciplined Kenshi lost his vision. The blinding happens as Kano and the mercenaries attack him. I always fuck up this guy's name. Kuai Liang decides to train Kenshi despite his misgivings. By the way, Kuai Liang is also known as Sub-Zero, which most people know that name. On a side note, Mortal Kombat is about to turn 30 this year, FYI.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat Legends Snowblind will be released on digital and Blu-ray later in 2022. I don't know if you saw these animated films, Nick, but I did. I saw Scorpion's Revenge and Battle for the Realms. I thought they were both fine. I thought Scorpion's Revenge was not so much Scorpion's Revenge. It was more just a retelling of Mortal Kombat 1 story.
Yeah.
And a little bit extra. It wasn't bad. It was just kind of like, I've seen this 100 times now. Mm-hmm. And Battle of the Realms, I honestly don't remember a lot about. I think it was okay-ish. I think I liked it better than Scorpion's Revenge. I can't really remember. Maybe that's not a good thing, that it's that unmemorable. But it came out last year, I think it was. Or maybe it was 2020. It came out the past couple of years.
Yeah, Scorpion's Revenge came out 2020, I think.
Yeah, okay. Ago. And then a year later, this one, and now a year later-ish, we're getting... Because they both came out around August, I believe it was. So, about a year. We're going to get about one a year. I guess that's not bad for an animated series. So, what do you think of this? And what's your experiences with the Legends series up to this point?
I have never seen any of them, to be fairly honest. I don't know if you heard me. They actually released a trailer for this today, about an hour.
Oh, really?
A couple hours ago. Yeah. It's it looks good. I mean, I don't know. Animated films of properties like this, and like DC, I think has done well, but I don't know. It's weird. It feels like a lower budget version of the series of any Mortal Kombat thing, and I just feel like it's pushed out to, because it'll make a couple bucks, but. The new trailer looked cool. I mean,
I was looking for this trailer right before we started, and it wasn't there. And
I mean, I'll put it in the chats unless you're able to show it real quick. I mean,
no, I got it right here.
Oh, okay,
yeah. Let's take. Well, I mean, fuck it. Let's go. Excuse me. Let's take a look at this trailer real quick. Let me see if I can get it here. It's a short trailer. It's 2 minutes long. Let's take a look at this trailer. And then we'll talk about it, and you'll have a better, because I since you haven't seen the others, you'll have more thoughts on it. So here is the trailer for What is it called? Mortal Kombat Legends. Snowblind. Well, I said we were. Here we go.
Once upon a time, you all lived together. Then the wars came. And you ran off into your little corners of the world. And now you're scared for your life. All you have to do is pledge your loyalty. All kneel before King Kano.
My eyes!
Can she wield me and see? The sword, it allows you to see.
I, Kenshi Takahashi, want to be the greatest fighter to ever exist.
I will teach you to use your senses, to live, not to die, to be the best warrior. Take your stance. Let's protect Earthrealm and end this right now.
This is my fight.
Your souls are mine.
Without that sword, you're nothing!
You want a challenge? Good.
Time to die.
Against those with power, no one stands a chance.
Is it just me, or is it getting a little bit nippy out here?
He's here. And there is nothing you can do to stop him.
All right. So, there it is. Snowblind.
There it is.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't expecting to do a trailer reaction today. I was looking for that one earlier, but there you go. Trailer reaction. Bam. Scoop. Yeah, it looked cool. I mean, the other ones looked cool too. That one looked. What I do like about this one, and this is one of the things I said about the previous two, was that they were like, especially the first one, the Scorpion's Revenge. It's telling stories that we all know. Like it was telling. It wasn't telling me anything new. It was telling me shit. I mean, okay, I'm not gonna say who. I know a lot about the Mortal Kombat lore. I love that franchise. I've seen Scorpion's story and the first tournament or the Mortal Kombat tournament story so many times that watching that movie was just like, this is like a recap. And the second one, like I said, Battle for the Realms, I honestly don't remember a lot about it. I probably need to revisit like the trailer for that or something. I saw it, I reviewed it, I just don't remember a whole lot about it. But this one looks
It feels
cool
like the Marvel animated films.
Yeah, and Kenshi he's an interesting character, I suppose. There's some not issues, but some questions I have as far as timelines go with this. With the age of some of the characters and who's teaching who what. But you know what? Maybe it's like a branch off. I don't know, and I haven't seen the movie. Did it say when it's coming out?
I don't think it did. October. That's what it says in the IMDb.
Trying to look if here it says when it's coming.
These movies honestly must be really cheap to produce, because if they can do one a year, it's like the Marvel and DC animated movies. I think they're lower quality animated movies, so they're easier to produce in mass quantities, maybe.
Well, they have. It doesn't. I don't see a date. It just says look for it on digital and Blu-ray.
Because David Wenham, who did, I think he played Faramir in Lord of the Rings, is voicing Kano.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I don't know. I'm surprised they haven't done a Sub-Zero movie, which looks like it features Sub-Zero a bit more. In the previous ones, he's been featured as more of a villain, which, depending on which Sub-Zero it is and when it is and all that, he has been a villain in the past. But
Yeah.
This looked cool. I mean, I'm coming off of. I remember the previous ones. I didn't hate either of them. I just thought they were fine. The violence and all that was cool. I mean, they were very R-rated. That was the thing. They were kind of hanging their hat on that whole. We're R-rated Mortal Kombat. Lots of blood and guts and gore. But really, beyond like the first, a few scenes in the first movie, it wasn't that R-rated. I mean, it was R-rated, but some of it seemed kind of forced, like some of the language they were using and stuff like this, or like that. But this one seems like a story that we at least haven't seen 100 times. So I'd be interested to see it. I'm wondering what they changed.
Yeah.
And I mean, me myself as a fan, I will definitely see it. I'll review it, but I'm interested to see what this is. I'm more interested now that I've seen the trailer. I mean, hearing about it or what I read about it and what little we had seen, I was kind of like, maybe. But you being someone who hasn't even seen the other two Legends, but at least being familiar with Mortal Kombat to a degree, is this something that you would you have picked this up if we never even talked about it? Would you have seen it? Probably not.
No, I honestly, I don't know. I like Mortal Kombat. I like the games. I think some of the newer games are actually some of the best fighting games ever put out. That's a bold statement, but I never felt like I was totally committed. Like the movies, this is another bold statement. I think the first Mortal Kombat movie is actually overrated, to be fairly honest. I think there's some major problems with that movie.
The Paul W.S. Anderson one from 95?
Yeah. Paul W.S. Anderson is not a great director, but it's entertaining, but it's like there's so many problems. Anyways, so Mortal Kombat is one of those I like better than like Street Fighter, but it never really hits me like a lot of people, and it just doesn't look that good to me. I'm gonna be fairly honest. I mean, it looks like it looks like something that I'll see Jacob want to talk about and be like, okay, I'll watch it, and then just kind of like I guess I'll go back and watch I don't know whatever crap movie. I'll go back and watch Stowaway again, that type of thing. In all honesty, animated movies, especially when they're like this, they never really have appealed to me.
I mean, admittedly, I'm more interested in the more live action and the game side of Mortal Kombat. But I mean, I love Mortal Kombat, so I'll watch it just like I did the other ones. Comparably speaking to the other ones, this one looks more interesting. I will say that. I mean, I have seen them, and that's coming from a fan of Mortal Kombat. I do think that this looks more I'm more interested in seeing this than I was the other two, especially coming off of what I know about the other two. Nothing against them. I didn't think they were terrible, but just this interests me more. It's telling like I said, not maybe 100% fresh story, but at least a less played out story than the other ones did. Looks like we're getting some characters. One character in particular, if it was who I thought it was, I know I saw Trimmer. He's kind of a fan favorite, like a obscure fan favorite, if you will. Not obscure, but he is a fan favorite. Kano, of course, was in there. We saw Shang Tsung and Sub-Zero, but and of course Kenshi. But one I saw in there, and Cabal. I was a huge Cabal fan. He did his debut in Mortal
Cabal's
Kombat 3.
Actually, Cabal's actually being voiced by Yuri Lowenthal. Oh no, it's Cobra. Never mind.
Okay, you just confirmed it. That was the other thing. There was another character it showed in the trailer, and I was like, is that Cobra? Because he showed up in Deception, I think, a long time ago. He was a new character in Mortal Kombat. I think it was Mortal Kombat Deception. And like he got like people talked shit about him a lot. I think he may have shown up in Armageddon, like one of the other ones. He's never really showed up again. And I hear about that character a lot because my gamer tag on Xbox Live is Cobra with a K.
And that's where you got it from.
No, it's not where I got it from, but that's what I get accused of a lot of the time. People are like, "Oh, you're."
I just figured you like Cobra Kai or something like that, or you love Cobra.
No.
I don't know.
It comes from totally unrelated to this. It comes from my love of Cobra Mustangs, because that was my favorite car. Still, I mean, I love that car. I've had a couple of them, but when I joined Xbox Live as a beta tester before it went live, that's why I'm able to get that name without like numbers and all this other shit. But the Cobra with a C was taken, so I went Cobra with a K. That was in 2001. Deception, which featured Cobra for the first time, didn't come out until like 2004, I think. It was years later. And then everybody's always like, you named yourself after a B-list Mortal Kombat character. It's like, no, I didn't. I was there first. But yeah, that's why when I see Cobra in this trailer, I'm like, oh, there's that guy. But yeah, he was like a Ken or Ryu-esque looking Mortal Kombat character from back then. But he's apparently in this movie, so good on him. Maybe they'll give him some backstory, much needed backstory, because his character's kind of meh. But yeah, I mean, it looks like I don't really know what all they're gonna be doing. It's showing how Kenshi lost his sight. His whole thing in the games is that he's a blind, like ninja samurai, not ninja, but a blind swordsman, and he's also he has telekinesis. He's in the latest game, I think. Yeah, he's in MK11. I think he was in MK10 as well. But either way, he's in the games. He's the guy with the you see him there in the background. He's got the red thing over his eyes, and he has a sword.
Yeah.
I think he's in 10, and his son or something like that is in 11. I can't remember, but it's showing how he lost his eyesight.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know. Well, at least maybe this isn't canon. Kano had anything to do with taking it, but whatever. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot more to say about this thing. The trailer, it's another Legends movie. I'm happy to see that they're going in a direction telling lesser known stories, because the ones that they've told in the past have just kind of been like, I already know this. Tell me something new, please. And I just hope Quan Chi's in it, or not in it, because I fucking hate Quan Chi. I fucking hate that character. And I think he was in Battle of the Realms. I fucking hate Quan Chi. He's a terrible character. Fuck him.
Yeah.
But hopefully he's not in it. But yeah, Mortal Kombat, Battle of the Realms. Mortal Kombat's turning 30 this year, here soon. I don't know the exact date offhand, but if you're interested in Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat Legends series so far, there you go. I am interested to see what are they going to do with this series. Are they going to continue making them every year? Next year, are we going to get like the fucking, I don't know, Reptile movie or something? We shall see. But I do have some questions about the timeline and how some people are older and younger and yada, yada, yada. But there it is. From a fan, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Looks like it could be cool. From a non-fan, Nick says no. Not interested. To each his own.
So I have a question for you, Jacob. I may have Phase 6 line up for Marvel, if you're interested.
Oh, Phase 6? Oh, hang on.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Like it's one of those things, like, I don't know if it's true or not, but I don't know if you want to know.
What is this, like a leak that just happened?
Yeah, it's a supposed leak.
Okay. Well, yeah, sure. Hit us. We'll get our live reactions of the possible Phase 6. Anything? Is there anything spicy in there? Anything like, holy shit, I wasn't expecting that? Or is it all going to be like, yep?
Most of it will probably be yep. Okay. Fall 2024, Young Avengers.
Ugh.
This is a little blurry. September 20th, 2024, Shang-Chi in the Wreckage of Time. Okay. November, Fantastic Four.
We knew that.
Winter of 20. What's that?
We knew that one, didn't we?
Yeah. Winter of 2024, Midnight Suns on Disney Plus.
Wait, hang on. Isn't Midnight Suns a game?
Yeah, eventually they'll put that out like 10 years from now.
Yeah, I mean, it just got delayed again until next year. But I thought Midnight Suns was a game. I guess it's based on a property too. Okay, moving on.
Yeah, that could be like an X-Men thing. Armor Wars is coming in the winter of 2025. Yeah, it's that Don Cheadle movie or show. The one.
The one about War Machine.
Yeah. February, basically Valentine's Day weekend, The Spectacular Spider-Man. Spring 2025.
Tom Holland?
Yeah, they're doing another film, so that's not really surprising. Spring 2025 Disney Plus show Scarlet Witch. Spring 2025 Nova from Disney Plus. Avengers both have been announced, so that's nothing new. And then we got a second season of Miss Marvel on the 2025 summer.
Yeah.
And here's the one that might be the Eternal sequel. July 25th, 2025 is Celestials.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
how much
prob-
this is
that's
true, but yeah, it
part
sounds
of
like
the
an Eternal sequel.
Well,
So that's the possible lineup.
I mean, honestly, that sounds. I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but it just sounds an awful lot like Phase 4. You've got a
Right.
Spider-Man movie in there to save the day, and then all the other stuff is
Shang-Chi.
just like, yeah, you got Shang-Chi again. You got, I don't know. It just seemed a lot like, I guess depending on how Fantastic Four does, it seems like more
Yeah.
of Phase 4. I mean, I guess it really depends on how the overarching story goes as far as like how they're going to interconnect all that, but nothing there makes me go, fuck yeah, that'd be cool. It's just kind of like, yeah, okay. Well, I'm sure somebody out there's really excited. It's just not me.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it could be fun. It's just, once again, even if this is not all correct and it's other stuff, you got to admit the next 3 years of Marvel is going to be an overload. I mean, there's
32
probably,
movies.
20, a shit ton of fucking stuff. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I can guarantee you Marvel movies are going to come out. Marvel stuff will be coming out in the next 3 years. But, I mean, hey, there you go. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Scoop! The Marvel Phase 6. Right? Was it 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, Phase 6. If that's what it is. You heard it here first. Or maybe you didn't hear it here first, but I heard it here first. And I didn't give a shit. I hate to say that. I'm sure somebody will rake me over the coals for that, but I mean, it is what it is, man.
Oh, yeah. They'll be
Marvel's
like,
just-
you guys suck.
Yeah, Marvel's just not doing it for me anymore. I hope they come back. I mean, I hope that they realign and this next phase or the rest of this phase, whatever. I hope everything they come out with is really good because I hate going to see boring movies or movies that are just eh. So
You don't
I'm
want
hoping
another
they get
Thor
back to
movie?
Glory days. Do what?
You don't want another Thor movie?
No, oh my god, that movie sucks. You can rake me over whatever coals you want on that one. Thor: Love and Thunder sucked. I waited so long to see that movie. I finally, Jesus Christ, fuck that movie. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is that. That is the Almost Awesome Show, episode 9 with a scoop. I mean, we got all kinds of stuff coming in there at the end with a trailer reaction I wasn't expecting and Phase 17 announcements and stuff, and super excited about all that. Yeah, it's going to be great. Check me out on all my social media platforms and stuff, the Twitches, the Twitters, the Facebook, wherever, just search my name. It's I'm on there. Almost Awesome, Jacob Anders Reviews. Tonight, I will be doing a live stream per usual. I don't have any idea as of right now what I will be streaming tonight. But I will stream something, and that will be at regular time, 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock p.m. Pacific and Eastern Time. Now, I will say, Friday, I am tentatively planning on doing an extra live stream on Friday, possibly move to Saturday, but I do plan on doing a live stream Friday or Saturday, hopefully Friday evening. It will be later at night, like 9 o'clock plus my time, for the new PC game, The Amazing Spider-Man. That is a PlayStation 4/5 game that's been out for a while. It just released on PC. I've never played it, and I thought, well, I guess I'll check out this game everybody talks us so much about. So that's coming sometime in the next few days. Also, to reiterate what I said in a previous show, the Wednesday night streams, while my streaming, I will still be streaming each week, at least one time a week. It's not for at least this week and next week. It will still be on Wednesday, but after that, it will be changing up days, and I'll let everyone know on this show when I'll be streaming, and they'll still be planned out like at least a day in advance. But that is coming to an end soon, that every single Wednesday thing. Beyond that, our next show will be Saturday at 12 o'clock Pacific, 3 o'clock Eastern in the afternoon, and we will be having one of those Forgotten Awesomeness reviews coming that day with our guest, and that is about all I've got. Nick, tell everybody where you're from, where they can find you, what you got going on, and whatever else you'd like to tell them that's within the legal constraints of YouTube guidelines.
Well, I'm from the Third Lord of Gates of Hell. as clearly by this picture. You can reach me at Movie Emporium on Twitter, all that good stuff. Movie Emporium YouTube, Fifth Dimensions held there as well, which is the Twilight Zone podcast that Jacob co-hosts with me. A couple videos this week. Usual. I have a last episode of 4th season of Westworld's coming soon, so I'll have a review of that. But for the time being, you can find all my content at Movie Emporium.
Well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Disturbing looking live action Pac-Man. I hope they do that. But live action Pac-Man, Movie Emporium. Look up his review of live action Pac-Man coming soon. You can find it there, and a blue screen. There it is. But hope you guys enjoyed the show. It was just a touch. It wasn't shorter than usual, but it wasn't as long as last week. But just a touch longer than usual. At 2 hours and 11 minutes now. But we brought it in. Had quite a few stories. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys have a fantastical rest of the week and a good beginning of the weekend. And hope you're able to join me tonight on my stream and also on Saturday at on the next show. And also check out, like Nick said, The Fifth Dimension. That episode just released day before yesterday.
Monday.
Was it yesterday?
Yeah. It was on the lateness of the hour.
Yeah. Check out that episode of The Lateness of the Hour. That was an interesting episode. And check out next Mondays for The Trouble with Templeton, I think is what that episode was called. Yeah, check that one out. That was a interesting episode too. But check those out. Check out Nick's channel. Check out my channel. Like, subscribe, all that good sexiness. And we'll see you guys on Saturday. Peace, love, chicken grease. Bye.